Hello, Chordians, and welcome to today's episode of Reminiscence in Chords, a space where old songs unlock old stories and memories dance to a familiar rhythm. Every episode is a time capsule waiting to be opened. Don't forget to check out the other episodes. You never know which one might spark a memory of your own.
Some songs don't just play, they stay. They stay with us, tied forever to moments that changed us, moved us, and made us believe in something deeper. Welcome to Reminiscing in Chords. Today's music is soft, soulful, and timeless. It carries a kind of emotion that can turn a fleeting moment into something unforgettable. We're honored to hear a story that captures exactly that. It's a story about a connection so real. It only took one night, one conversation, and one beautiful song to leave a mark forever. Please help me welcome Dallas, who is here to share how Anita Baker's Angel became the heartbeat of a memory he would never forget. Hey, Dallas, how you doing?
Hello, Dainty. Thank you for having me on Reminiscing in Chords. Hello.
Hi, I'm glad you're here. I'm so looking forward to your story. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. You're more than welcome, Dainty. I'm absolutely excited to be here and share my story. Song is as soulful, Anita Baker's Angel.
Yeah.
And my love story journey.
I'll just let you do your thing. Tell us the story. Reminisce with me. What does that song do to you?
So taking it back to 2002, 2003, got long story short, we went there for a week's trip. The very first day we got there, we were met with quite a large cast of models, people I've never seen in my life, but we're all there for one common goal, which is to do a job. I think in the midst of looking for my daily 2K, going out for a hustle,
Yeah.
I came across someone. This was a demure young lady. So seeing this lady for the very first time, I think we got talking. We tried to focus on what, the business of the day, but obviously in between we still had little moments of banter.
Yes.
So the very first day after the shoot, we exchanged pleasantries, trying to keep in touch, and she told me where she was from. In an instant, Dainty, I realized there was a bit of connection. Firstly, she was Portuguese. I've always had this thing about Portuguese women, their hair, their look, so things happen quickly between us. From one simple conversation to talking about interests, going from, a taste of food, going into lifestyle and then to music. And then music just opened, mention of conversation. And it went from things we like our partners to do or our boyfriends at the time. She was able to express some of these things using certain lyrics of certain songs. But then she focused more on Anita Baker's lyrics, and some of the lyrics, Daisy, that she used between our conversation went from love to right feelings, feeling me up, baby. For me at the time, because we were young, these were heavy lyrics. So I wasn't sure how long she had been in, previous relationships, or if she's had any relationship, or she was just trying to talk big. Obviously, we're trying to raise each other at the time. I'm coming from Nigeria, but she's from South Africa. And we were probably just trying to raise each other, just put together big words just to swoon and make each other fall, in love of some sort. And then she talked about how much she listened to Anita Baker at nighttime, while she's probably not in school, she's listening to this song. And she went on talking about Anita Baker's Angel for a long time. At some point, to be honest, Dainty, this song had, every time I listen to this song, it puts me in two different moods. So obviously, I'm really close to my sisters and my mom. And there's certain lyrics to that song that relate to the love I have for my mom and my siblings. But speaking to Tanya, this lady, it was a totally different perspective. For me, it was like a dream come true. And some of the lyrics from this song, dreams are dreams, some dreams come true. So talking to her on the first day already put me in a world of dreams. I already started, I don't want to word fantasy, but it was more like dreams. Dating someone from a different country, somebody who's probably in the same work of life, a model. And, gradually I realized that the conversation led to other things. After the shoot that night, we went to the club, and by morning when we got back from the club, she stayed over at my hotel. Nothing happened, Daisy. I gotta be honest with you on the first day. I'm a perfect gentleman like that. Nothing happened on the first
If you
day.
say so.
No, honestly, nothing happened on the first day.
Okay.
We had quite an in-depth of conversation, and these conversations were, I want to say they're naive, but there were elements of those conversations that talked about life, starting a relationship, starting a family. In our 20s, we were in the right position to talk about these things at depth. But,
Yeah.
a few hours of chatting, having drinks, listening to songs like Anita Baker's Angel, that just put us both in the right mood. So I think, that's pretty much the base of the conversation with her. Fast forward to day 3, which was the end of her shoots.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before she went home, so many things had gone on, which is we've had conversations as to establishing the fact that I'm single, she's single, and highlighting challenges like distance, mode of communication, and what we truly wanted between us, which is not just lust. Sex came between it. It was a rush of emotions. We were thinking way ahead of time. We had no control of what to expect. But we did believe that we were in love. And for the fact that we believed we were in love, we could create something and probably maintain that thing till the future. But obviously, nobody knew what was going to happen. At the time, MySpace, this was the only mode of communication that we promised each other we were going to use. We created specifically an account with a password that only both of us had access to, meaning you cannot say you couldn't log in because you created this password, this account, strictly for both of us to communicate and hide our messages. But it was more like we dated, to be honest. At the time, I thought we were going to have a blood oath. Because obviously we were young,
Really?
naive and wild. Like I said, it was a rush of emotions. Everything was happening too fast. We were getting monies from Coca-Cola. We thought we had arrived. We thought we'd sustain whatever was born at the time. With the way everything was happening, okay, I could travel. To be honest, we were thinking of pregnancy. And
wow.
It was happening too quick. So, along the line, there were lots of promises. This was something, if I'd known what I know now, promises is something you never ever. Under very tight circumstances, you must be careful of the promises you make. Because obviously, we were just blind to reality. Everything does come to an end at some point. But the promises we were making then, Dainty, it seemed like, the minute she goes back and the minute I go back home, we would then continue everything because we wanted to see if what we had would stand the test of time. But, Dainty, last, everybody would chop breakfast. I've known that sweet promises. Promises are just fickle. We can say these things, Dainty, with good intentions. But sustaining these promises is another conversation for another day.
Yeah, but I mean, you were young then, so.
Yeah, this was basically the base of how this song affected me then in a very strong, loving way. Obviously, using love terms bigger than me at the time. Talking about marriage when we didn't even know 4 walls of what marriage entails. But it's young hearts finding love, then marinating it with love songs. It was a huge trend of love songs. Every single person there was listening to love songs. Even you did, I believe so.
I believe.
I know, okay.
You have a lot of songs.
All right, okay, all right.
Don't put me on the spot like that.
Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much about it.
Thank you for sharing. You really painted such a vivid picture. And hearing your story makes me wonder about a few things. So would you be open to a few questions to take us even further into the night?
Absolutely.
When you hear Angel now, do you find yourself thinking more about the happy moments or the bittersweet goodbye? And how did it end?
How did it end? For Tanya and I, communication became a little bit more difficult. One, towards the end of our shoots, I did promise her I was going to try to see her. However, plans changed because I didn't come there on my own. I came there with a crew.
Right.
Obviously, the whole journey was in control of the people who brought us in, which were the marketing manager, the brand manager of Coca-Cola, STD Macan Lagos. I think she was a little bit upset because in as much as our flight was probably in the afternoon or in the evening, I couldn't possibly remember. My promise to her didn't come to fruition. So that's me breaking one promise, even whilst I was still there. Whether she saw reason to the excuse I gave, it's a different story entirely. So the second question you asked, do I see myself thinking more about one, the happy moments, or two, bittersweet goodbyes? Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
The happy moments, I definitely always. The reason why I would always think about the happy moments over the bittersweet memories is simply because those moments, Dainty, were true. They were pure. They were innocent. They were real. These weren't conversations online. They were real-time conversations with real people. And our expressions and affirmations of love to each other at the time was real. I was young, but I could feel something I'd never felt before. Not felt from secondary school, primary school, or university. It was real, Dainty. Put in mind, I was in university then, University of Lagos. Now, meeting a whole lot of females in my faculty, my school, the interest at the time and the feeling at the time was totally different. Factors being wasn't in an area I was familiar with. I was meeting a totally different set of people. These are the memories I hold every time I listen to this song.
Oh, nice.
Just sweet memories, to be honest. It's there as a lesson for me. I knew at some point that things would definitely end. But you never can tell these things.
True.
Because obviously then we were both living for the moment.
Looking back, if you had a chance to relive the week, would you change anything or leave it as exactly as it happened?
To be honest, with what I know now, the things I would probably change.
Yeah.
I would love to relive those moments again. With what I know now, I'll be able to amend and act in certain capacity to help probably sustain the relationship more. And I'll explain. It would probably be giving her more time to see the shortcomings of the feelings we're having then. One would be distance. We weren't looking at the bigger picture. We thought probably because we had a little bit of money here and there, it was easy to relocate from Nigeria to South Africa and vice versa. But that wasn't the case. So I would love to relive that moment again, relive every moment from when we landed to when I met her. However, I'd like to also make certain changes, which is think properly. And think, deeper. But obviously now we've had a fair share of life.
Right.
You would reduce your expectations and think deeper as to what you're getting into.
I think you were looking for the word that now you think with the brain in your head and not the other brain.
Absolutely. Because this is the truth. With young lads, we're thinking of that brain and not this brain.
With everything you just said, have you ever purposely avoided listening to Angel during certain times because the memories were too strong? I think I'm asking because there's sometimes that a song comes up and I don't like the memory, it reminds me of, and I just press next.
Not at any point in time purposely try to avoid or skip Anita Baker's Angel. On my playlist, in the car, at home, it's embedded in my playlist. Part of what you're talking about regarding certain songs, and so I lost my mom recently. Obviously,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you very much. With Anita Baker's Angel, there are elements of that song that also reminds me of my mom, and I'm sure you're able to relate to it. All you want to do is just skip it, especially if you're not having a great day.
Yes.
However, every time it comes up on my playlist, I just enjoy it. It just helps form different memories from the bittersweet to good times.
Yeah. Right now, if you could dedicate Angel to Tanya right now, first of all, do you still keep in touch with her?
Unfortunately, it's so difficult, Daisy, when you're so used to one method of communication, which is either you call her on the phone whilst you're there, and when you're not there, it's a little bit difficult to pick up the phone to call. One, because of the time difference, but you call, and then you probably miss a call, or she misses your call, and then the call back is where the problem is. Probably I'm not able to call back at the same time, and then it gradually just waters down the whole emotion. So I didn't try to keep in touch via MySpace, but I did search for her data. I did.
So, if you could dedicate Angel to Tanya right now, would you add a message along with it? And if yes, what would you say?
Just one lyric or two lines of lyric. If I could hold you again, I would always cherish and love you, my angel, Tanya.
Aww.
The chorus of the song, You're My Angel. I can't really sing. Oh, angel, you're my angel. Lovely song. Absolutely. Love it. Absolutely. You know the song. You can sing anyway.
I try. Thank you so much, Dallas, for bringing us into such a special chapter in your life.
Thank you for having me on Reminiscing in Chords. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone listening. We hope today's story inspires you to think about the songs that shaped your own journey. You can find the link in the description to listen to today's featured song, Angel by Anita Baker. And while you're there, would love for you to share your own story too. Send an email to remingchords@gmail.com and follow us on IG @remingchords. My name is Dainty, and until next time, keep the memories alive and the music playing.